Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave podcast here at the Culture Wave Media Network, and we are back to discuss episode 5 of season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us. I am one of your hosts. My name is Darian Scalamoni. I am joined this week by Liz Seiko.
What's happening?
And we're going to dive right in. This is, according to what Liz just told me, as I'm checking the IMDb, this is the this is rated 7.8 for the season. It's the second highest of the season thus far as of this recording. A very all over the place season in terms of scores, though, too. We have a 7.4 for episode 1, a 9.3 for episode 2, obviously, a 7.1 for episode 3, a 6.5 for last week's episode 4, and then this week so far we are at a 7.8. But we both came in off camera talking about this episode, and I think you liked it a bit more than I did, but I am excited to jump into it. But we have 2 episodes left, Liz.
I know.
You're nervous.
I think they just have a lot to make up in such a short period of time, because I just feel like the story really hasn't, like, I don't know, we're almost there and nothing's really, I mean, yes, we lost Joel, like that's the craziest thing that could have happened, but overall, big picture wise, there hasn't been much progression except just like going on this vengeance tour right now, which, I mean, I guess maybe it's because I don't know how this show wraps up. Maybe that really is just how the whole rest of the show is going to be, is it's just vengeance, vengeance, vengeance. But I didn't hate this episode. I kind of enjoyed it. I feel like there was a lot happening. For me, this episode, they got a little bit away from like the romance and like storytelling, which I think they need to get away from it. I think that they gave us a lot this season. Get rid of it now and focus on the actual action and focus on the world, because we've got a lot going on right now. We have a lot of different groups developing. There's a lot on the line also. I just don't think they have any more time to be having mundane teenage romance scenes anymore.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think my worry is similar to yours, where I think that they almost have too much going at the same time in this show right now. I think that introducing all of these characters, introducing new characters as recently as last week with Isaac, and then we get kind of a little bit more of a sense of Hanrahan, and the episode opens with her having this conversation with a woman who's like another sergeant of the WLF like crew, the Wolves. That gives us, it sets the stage for like what's to come later on in the episode. And I do like how we're getting glimpses of the world through the eyes of different characters. But when we get back to the focus of Dina and Ellie, I'm not feeling it, which I think is a big problem with this season in general. As I've said previously, if you're joining us for the first time, I did not play the second game. You've never played either of the games.
No.
And I know that at the heart of that is you still need this relationship between Dina and Ellie, and what does that mean overall? I'm not getting a great vibe from their relationship. I think that part of it is writing. I think part of it could be blamed on the story structure. I think part of it could also be a little bit on the acting, which we can get into. But with all the action we get in this episode, because you talked about it off camera with me about how you're like, this is the most action heavy episode. I do think that we did get these other moments of action last week with the subway train, and we get the moment where Ellie ultimately kills the one wolf when they're in the room and you see the Seraphites hanging, which is again kind of foreshadowing what we wind up seeing in this episode. But I feel like last season, correct me if I'm wrong, but the action stuff you thought was just kind of like a supplement, and a lot of people complained about how the first season there wasn't enough action. Now we're getting a lot of action, a lot more truncated season. Did that play better for you in this episode than, I guess, how it played last season? Let's start there.
I feel like I don't remember like any action really happening last season, except like early on and then the final like ending sequence of him in the hospital. But like the whole middle part, I feel like it was just them walking. Like that's really the most that I remember, I feel like. So already I think that they have kind of more sequences of action go on this season. I don't know if they're able to string them together so well, but for me, I think that's why I like this episode, because they were able to make the through line of the action sequences fluid. Like they were in the building of all of the more intelligent ones that then led them into the forest, that then led Ellie into the hospital. So I think that they're finally showing like how the story is progressing in time, rather than like jumping around and doing all these time cuts and just confusing us of exactly where we're at and what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I talked about that last week too. I thought that the way that they were editing the season, jumping back and forth in time and different characters,
it's confusing.
It did get a bit confusing.
Like even this opening scene, a part of me was like,
when did this happen?
Are we looking back at a different time, or is this current present time? And you don't want your audience confused on timeline.
Oh, I think part of that also was because of the way they've structured the previous 4.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like it's relatively quickly after what we're seeing. Because I don't think we get a title card in this one for like when it's happening.
We get nothing.
Yeah, we get nothing.
Just are thrown into it. But I think the reason that it was a little confusing for me is because the last time we saw, what's her name?
Hanrahan.
Yeah, the last time we see her, it was
when Isaac's like
the flashback.
Yes.
So right off the bat, it's like, well,
where are you placing?
Where are we placing this person?
I think that's fair. This episode, like you said, does a lot less of that, and we see the through line of the characters going from I guess point A to point B to point C. But jumping into, I guess, the Dina and Ellie, how we start off this episode, the last time we see them, they start to kind of devise a plan on how they're gonna go ahead and go search for Abby again after we get the reveal that Dina's pregnant, and Dina finds out that Ellie can't be infected, that she's immune, and we get like relationship moments that I don't think hit well. And I think you would agree with that.
I just don't think they're needed anymore. Like, we get it. They care for each other. They love each other. Dina's pregnant with someone else's baby, and it's super complicated and really like melodramatic. We don't want it anymore right now, though. We want to see the actual storyline progress. And I don't think that their like romance story is progressing the actual story.
I would agree with that. I think that now the unfortunate reality is one that you predicted that I think is going to come to fruition. We get the reveal later on when Jesse comes and saves the day, but I think that we're kind of trudging towards this love triangle, or
pick one of us. Dina, you get him or me. Who do you want?
That's
what it's going to be.
Life.
It's literally going to be an argument of like, you can't have us both. Who do you want?
And who do you want? What do you want to see happen?
I want Dina to just be like, I don't know. I don't know.
You want all the characters to die?
I don't know. I don't know what I want. And like, I don't know what, I think that is my biggest gripe right now with this show is, and I talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but okay. First season is like this overall feeling of kind of positivity, being like, yes, they're bringing her to find a antidote, finding a vaccine. She's immune. This is a possibility. Like, this is what we're working toward as a big picture. I don't know what the big picture is right now. Is it literally just to kill this one girl, Abby? Like, is that truly what our entire moving motivation for this plot is just to kill one person? Because then it's like, okay, we kill Abby. What's next?
Yeah, so I guess my question to you, because I understand your point, if it is truly a through line of just a simple revenge story, right? What would you like to see in the end? Like, what do you think would be something where you'd be like, okay, this is taking me somewhere different, or this could be like, do you have any ideas of where you'd like to see them go, or do you think they haven't kind of built enough out to where this is the only place it's directly taking us to?
A part of me thinks it would be really cool to see Ellie like actually have to sacrifice herself now and realize that the only way to like save humanity is to do that surgery and like have herself die in order for them to figure out like what's going on within herself.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know where they can go either. I feel like it's almost like they've written themselves into a hole.
Yeah.
And that might be part of what...
But I wonder if that's because of the game or that's the writing that they're doing for this show. Because I know some things have been changed.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I can't speculate. Like, I don't know if in the end her character does wind up dying or not. I'm curious on how they go about that. I mean, again, they've now built it out to a third season, where we're going to kind of continue on with these characters. But the biggest thing for me is that we get an ending scene, with Joel. We get kind of, she's in the middle of kind of pickaxing the shit out of Nora's leg, and we'll get into that. But it just goes to a black screen, and then she wakes up, and she's almost like in a dream.
What'd you think about it?
I didn't like it at all.
Oh no, okay.
I didn't like it at all.
Nope.
I think it was more so because of the way that it was structured. Again, like I would have rather them got into an end point with this episode, and if next week's episode is a full like either dream sequence or the first half is that, and then but the way it was edited was so jarring to me. It's like we're in the middle of her like absolutely beating the shit out of this woman with a pickaxe, and then it just blacks out, which again, like I don't know if they're trying to put you, and we were talking, Sean's producing this episode, he's played the games, we were talking a little bit off camera about how the game does structure it where it puts you into the shoes of Ellie, and I don't know if they're trying to walk that line, because to me it felt like in that moment as a viewer you're blacking out from the violence. And it's like, is that what they're trying to get across? Because I don't know if everybody would pick up on that. Like, did you pick up on that?
No, I didn't take it as like she's blacking out from the violence. I took it as we're showing the moment that Joel told her what he did. Because she says like, oh, I know. And
which is a big reveal.
Very big reveal,
Yeah.
because up to this point, we think that she thinks Joel is like completely innocent and like didn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was the moment that he chose to tell her what actually happened.
Okay. But even in terms of the editing, like
I just think the show's really not. I don't know who the editor is, but I'm not a fan of the work. Sorry, not a fan of it. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that even if that is the case, though, too, which I think you're probably right. That's probably where they're taking us next.
It's also like a little bit video gamey editing, you know, of like blackout. Oh, we're going to show you a quick glimpse. And then it's like, oh my God. And then you have to go into a whole new sequence to figure out like, okay, how do we get there to that? Right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I think it's just, well, I don't know. Cause with a game, it's like, again, you could just play for like 30 hours straight. Not that some people are doing that, but with this, again, we need to have some sort of sequence in terms of editing going from one episode to the next. But regardless, if that is where they're leading us, which I think you're probably right, what is he alluding to then in his scene with Gail? If he already did tell Ellie this, what did he do to make her so angry at him? And like what I'm worried about is like, do we get to a point where he like tries to have a conversation with her about like her sexuality towards Dina, and she gets really pissed?
No, I don't think so.
I hope not, because I can't at this point, I can't pinpoint something where I think if that is true and she does know because he had a conversation with her, what could he be alluding to Gail that he saved her? Like, what does that mean?
I feel like I don't remember the exact like verbiage that he says
to Gail.
Yeah,
he says he saved her. That's what he says,
and that's why she's mad.
When she goes,
at
"What
him?
did she goes? What did you do?" She goes, "What did you do?" I think she says, "What did you do that to that child?" And then there's like a beat, and he goes, "I saved her," and he gets up and he walks away.
Okay, but like she could still be mad about like that. She could be mad about that. He could have this scene of him saying to her like, "I saved you and I killed all these people to save you," and she could be mad because she could be like, "I don't need you to save me. Why did you go and kill like all these people that I was working and doing all this work to go get and like work with them, and you just obliterated them?"
Like it wasn't up to you to make that choice for me.
Yes, because she probably is like, you're not my dad, but like you're my dad.
You're not my dad.
So like I could still see her being mad about the situation.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I don't know if we're gonna do this continuously too. I'm wondering if this is gonna be the last we see of Pedro for next week's episode. I kind of hope it is, because at this point I'm like, we need to move on. Sean's shaking his head no, I think. So I think that at the same time, like, this is Pedro, and we know that what he brings to the show. I think that, like, I have friends that watch the show and they're like, oh no, like, Pedro's gone, am I still gonna care? And it's like, that's also not what you want for this show going forward. Now we've gone 3 episodes without him, and this is where they're leading us to. But getting more back on track, I guess, with Ellie's story. Let's jump backwards to a scene that I'm sure you were so elated about, where Ellie goes into the auditorium and sits and strums a guitar for 5 seconds. Now,
what are we doing? I'm missing a huge key element of, I don't understand why we keep like doing these guitar scenes.
Were you nervous that when she started to sing that she would go more than one line?
Yes. No, I literally was like, here we go, another 3-minute like another encore. Let's go.
We didn't get that exactly. But then from that point, we get to a thing where I was highly criticizing off camera. And
I just want to say, do you feel the same way about these music scenes, or do you like them? Do you enjoy them?
The first one I didn't mind. This one, after having the conversation and just seeing how insignificant it is, because she just gets there, it says one line, and then she puts the guitar down. She's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I just don't understand, which makes me feel like it really is acting at this point, because, like, yeah, that should be a moment of her grieving Joel.
Yeah. You don't get that at all in that scene. No, I agree with you. You don't get
Absolutely
it. You
not.
don't get it at all.
It looks like somebody that's just like, well, I got time to waste.
It's almost like they're trying to like deliver it to the audience on a silver platter, but what's on the platter is like not edible. Like it's kind of like they're like, well, you should really try this. I think you'd really like it.
Yeah.
And then you try it and you're like, I don't think I want that ever again.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, add an element of it where like she really doesn't want anyone to see her play or sing, and it was something for her and Joel, and Dina keeps like popping in and watching her and wanting to listen to her, and then that's her lashing out at Dina of being like
adding conflict to the relationship.
Adding conflict, and then also adding a layer of anger into Ellie. There is no like anger.
Yeah, it's almost like it's just been completely ripped from her when she's around Dina. It's like anything that came before now doesn't exist.
Yes.
And it kind of makes what did happen before feel insignificant.
Yes. And then the build up to what happens at the end of this episode with Ellie literally beating the shit out of somebody kind of seems like out of pocket almost, because like we haven't seen these like angry outbursts. Like I wish that there were more breadcrumbs of like showing her have these angry outbursts in order to lead up to this aftermath of her literally beating somebody.
I think that's fair. I think that part of it is showing though how reactionary she is, which they do have a conversation about earlier on in the episode, where Ellie just does things out of that vengeance and frustration over time, and Dina's aware of it, so she's like, I don't want you going in and just shooting a gun in the air. Like we can't do that. And in this situation, it's like the love of her life, Dina, just got shot in the leg with an arrow, and Jesse's the one that takes her to safety, and Ellie then, instead of trying to meet back up with them, sees the hospital, and she's like, oh no, I'm going in the hospital. Like it's almost like it does play into the way that Bella's take on the character is. I am curious on how that plays out in the game, if it's similar, but it's something where it's almost like she loses all sense of self as a person when she enters the hospital. It's like she's just completely enamored with revenge. Like that is really how it plays. And I think that the reason I liked the scene in the hospital, and in particular the scene when she does finally have a conversation with Nora before she starts beating her, is it's almost like she's like letting herself go into the violence. And I think that that's a part of what a little bit of like Sean and I were talking, like we were talking off camera, like that's part of what happens in the game is like, you're realizing that this really is just something that is, this is a part of Ellie that's changed now. Like, she is a violent person. She is somebody that is going to do whatever she can do to get that retribution. I did think that played well. Did you not feel that way because of the acting, because of the sequencing, because of the writing?
I think it played well. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of just wanted her to like let Nora's the character's name, right?
Yeah, Tati, Gabriel.
I don't know, let Nora
Gabriel's
just
character.
like, she's dead already. She's literally like breathing in all these spores. Like, why beat her? Was kind of my mentality.
I think that's where that kind of that change, you see it happen in real time. But you're saying you would have liked to have seen more of a character development.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like a little not out of nowhere, but it just felt kind of like quick.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think we've seen a lot of that though in this season with the way they're pacing things.
Yeah,
I think the pacing in this season has been very breakneck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it works really well in episode 2 because it builds the tension to this point. But we go from, again, we go from Joel's death to they're immediately going on the run. Like, we have one episode, I guess, where they show like, and we jump 3 months,
mm-hmm.
and we just go, okay, well, now it's time to have the board meeting, and we have to have the town in place, and we need to make sure that every character that you just saw over the last 2 episodes, we showcase
mm-hmm.
them, and then we, like, it's just this season in particular for me, in comparison to the first season, I think, like, pales on every level with the exception of the infected,
mm-hmm.
which is what was a big complaint from the audience in the first season, where
mm-hmm.
they were like, we need more infected. Like, they're like, it's almost like they're focusing too much on the characters in the first season, that they were ignoring the fact that the infected were there. Now I think they're doing a good job with the infected, but our lead characters we're not invested in. Yeah. And I think that is a problem, because at the same time, then it's like you have feelings like you have, I think me a little bit less of an extent, but you certainly, like, we don't care. Like, we don't really care about what happens to these characters.
Like, out of that whole scene, the most interesting thing for me was that now another person knows that she's the immune girl. Like,
with you're saying
with Nora.
Oh yeah.
Like, I find it more interesting now, and I want that to become the bigger plot than the revenge, is that more and more people start to know that Ellie's the immune person.
Yeah, like I kind of wish that we got that reveal with Jesse. Like, I'm waiting for that shoe to drop, essentially. Like, is Jesse gonna find out?
Like, she's literally getting mauled by people that are infected. Like, how does he just say, like,
you didn't get bit, did you?
No, I didn't. Oh, okay, cool. Like, what? She was being mauled by these people.
It's almost like the logic of the characters have completely gone by the wayside.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if that's it feels like this season the writing has shifted a bit.
Dwindled.
I think it's been a little bit weaker than what we saw in the first season.
Which I will say, I think it's also very difficult writing wise. I mean, this season is not a typical structure. Like, they had their biggest reveal happen episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So already it's just a very different landscape of writing and kind of like the rise and fall of the trajectory. So already I think it's a tough season for writing, but like, I don't know. It's just even the side small conversations, they're not intriguing to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We do eventually, like we said, we get Jesse kind of saving the day from the smarter infected.
Which you thought initially that it was like... What'd you think initially?
It's another example of like, it's very convenient. Like, and I like, you knew something was going to happen, but because I was sitting there and I was like, how are they going to get out of this? Yeah. Like, you're seeing the infected like rip the fence off in the tiny like electric room that Dina's in. And Jesse comes in. I almost wanted it to be Tommy. Like, when you were like, oh, I thought it was going to be Tommy. I was like, I kind of wish it was Tommy. And then you find out that Jesse and Tommy followed them the next day. Followed them all the way to Seattle, by the way, which is, again, crazy, convenient. I get it, whatever. But we don't see any lead up to that or anything. Like, I would have liked maybe a conversation between Tommy and Jesse back in Jackson Hole to see that Like, I don't know. It's just
they wanted that surprise,
surprise, whatever bullshit. I hate it, but we get that, and you had said I agree. I think the most intriguing part of the episode is when we do get that first look from Dina and Ellie and Jesse, who the Seraphites are, and their ritualistic actions, how they try to cleanse the wolves of their sins by taking this giant scythe and cutting them from their chest down and just letting their intestines kind of fall. It's a graphic scene. And just this like realization in their brains of like, what the fuck am I witnessing?
Yes.
On top of the fact that they have the infected, on top of the fact that they're on a mission for Abby, on top of the fact that they haven't even met Isaac yet, who we know is a sociopath.
Yeah.
So that was the most intriguing thing to me. And then especially going from there, leading us into, like, I thought the last 15 minutes of the episode were very strong. And I thought everything that came before it was really weak.
So example for me, that forest scene of watching them do their like ritual should have been like a changing moment of like their plan, because now all of a sudden they actually are starting to see there's other players on this field, and that it's not just like an easy like, oh, we're just gonna hop in the hospital and then like kill Abby and then we're like going back home. Like, it's like, no, there are like real people that are here to play, and like they're gonna kill you guys brutally if you mess up. Like, it's not all fun and games. So I wish that had almost kind of like shaken Ellie a little bit more and been like, wait a minute, I can't just barge right in there. I need to actually have a plan, because I don't know who these people are, what they want, what they're doing, and what their beef is with the wolves. Like, I just wish that they were playing a little bit smarter rather than just going balls to the wall. But it does, it does kind of align with her character, because in her mind, she's like, well, I'm immune. I can't get like hurt at all.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. But I just like wish that scene had affected her more.
I think that
also Dina got shot. Like, you don't care that.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy to go from that to then be like, go find safety. I'll find you in a minute. To then go to the hospital and be like, oh, I need to do this now. Again, it shows how impulsive she is. She does just kind of throw caution to the wind a lot of the time.
Yeah.
What we've seen over time.
And also what's to come. She's now trapped in this basement that they've sealed off. How is she getting out? What is she doing?
I guess that's kind of the breadcrumbs of leading. That's the question that you could have as the viewer, is like, well, how is she going to get out of this situation now? Plus, Dina and Jesse are going to be by themselves. Maybe Dina, Jesse, and Tommy come to the facility.
Dina's got to tell Jesse.
I think Dina is going to tell Jesse that she's pregnant, and I think time is going to go by where I think Dina is going to tell Jesse that she's immune, and I think it's going to lead to a conflict. That's what I think is going to happen, because I think that she's going to be like, if she doesn't say something to Jesse, then Jesse's not going to trust, and it's going to be a whole, like, I think something has to shift with this 3 character kind of love triangle now.
So in the next episode, you think we're getting a flashback?
It could be a whole episode of flashback, which again is a bold swing with 2 episodes left. I have no idea where they're going to leave us at the end of season 2, leading into season 3. They're filming season 3 right now. Season 3 is coming next year. So it's not going to be a long time. It's not going to be a long wait. But I'm not as in on this show this season as I was with season 1. And you were even less of a fan.
Yeah. Oh, God. Season 1, I was like struggling with. And I feel like I'm still struggling with this show. It's just like we had no Abby. We had no Isaac this episode. So it's like, are we actually going to get a glimpse of Abby next episode? Or are we just never going to see Abby again until next season?
Well, I think I brought this up on an episode, but I forget. But she is
a special guest, right?
She's being pushed in Emmy consideration as guest actor in a limited series, or guest actor in a series. So you have to be in half the episodes or less, and she's only been in 2 episodes through 5.
So
she could be in one more, but it's like I think they might be saving her for the finale.
Just a quick glimpse, like that it ends on like them facing each other, and then it's like,
no, I don't think they're gonna meet this by the end of the season. No, I don't think so. But that's what I think. Again, knowing nothing from the game, but I know. You might be out. It might be Mark and I covering this next.
No, I don't know, guys. It's just like they've gotta really give me some amazing 2 next episodes.
And your husband's out on this show.
He's like forcibly watching it and then is like on his phone the whole time and then is just like, this is stupid.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not progressing in a way that I was hoping it would, but we do have 2 episodes left. We'll have to see kind of where they end up.
I want them to surprise me. Keep me locked in. Give me all you got.
Yeah, try to get Liz back after
back.
episode 6.
Try to get me back.
Try to get her back. But let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about this episode? Give this video a like if you guys can. Are you guys on the side of us where I think I dislike the show a little bit less probably than you do at this point? I'm still invested in the characters, but I the last couple weeks have had me kind of teetering. Again, as someone who also, while I am a video game player, it's also that from a structure standpoint as a television show, not all video game stuff is going to translate, and this hasn't translated as well for me. So I'm curious about your thoughts in the comments. So leave comments. We'd love to have a conversation with you guys. Subscribe to us here at the Culture Wave Media Network. We're not only covering The Last of Us. We are currently about to wrap up our coverage of Andor. We have reviews up now for The Surfer, for Thunderbolts. Sinners is up. We have other incoming movie reviews for Mission Impossible is coming. Final Destination is coming. The summer is coming, which means comic book movies. If you're a comic book movie fan, Fantastic Four, Superman, all that stuff we'll have for you guys too. We also have some film festival coverage upcoming for you guys, so keep a lookout for that as well. You guys can also follow us on social media. All that stuff is below me in the video. You can see it. It's also in the YouTube description. We post news stuff on there. We have reels and clips from our episodes if you don't have a chance to check out the full episode as soon as it drops. And you guys can share all that stuff with your family and friends. We really appreciate it. But just signing off, I'm Darian Scalamoni.
I am Liz Seiko.
And we'll see you guys next time.
This is The Culture.